Welcome to the Knowledge Series. Here, under the course EC407 Computer Communication, we are going to discuss in the area on security at application layer. As you know about, the application layer used to communicate the various application from the sender to receiver side. So under this application layer, we are going to discuss on email. Here you can see the email architecture where the Bob and Alice is exchanging the scenario with respect to one-way email. So to understand this service, let's see the email format. If you try to see the email format, it has an envelope. So in that envelope, we try to create a message. So this message is nothing but these sections that you can try to see, where you have a from to. Here you will be coming, you try to create a from and to here, subjects will be there. Then you have a body with respect to what you are writing here. And this one, under this envelope, it is being sent, because this is a inbox is there, through inbox it has come, and once it is sent, it will be appearing in the sent. So this is a envelope over which this particular message is being created using a header, and the header is this one and the body is this one. So entire becomes a message which is being transmitted. So that is what we are seeing in this particular slide. Assume that Alice is working in an organization, and that runs the email server, and that email server is accessed by every employee that is associated or connected to the email server, and that LAN over which the employees are used to connect, and that LAN is being connected with the email server. Or Alice may be not connected to the LAN. Alice may be having a private net connections, and through the internet service provider, through the modem, the Alice will try to connect to its own system. So that is another way is that. One is through the organization's email server, or directly through the ISP using its own modem connections. Now here what we understand is that that email connections, when the Alice want to send there is a certain criterion is there that need to be followed. Similarly, Bob should also have the similar features what the Alice is having. Then only the Bob will able to receive that information that is being transmitted from the Alice side to Bob. When Alice need to send a message to the Bob, the first thing is that Alice will try to invoke the user agent. So that is, this is a user agent. So Alice will first invoke the user agent, and that is a user agent is a program, and thereby a message can be prepared. And that is what we have seen here. The Alice is in first opening the browser, Google browser, from there Gmail, from there the Gmail page, and from there compose it is creating. Once the compose is coming, you are creating this message, and finally when you are clicking the send, it is sending off the informations. So this is what the Alice will invoking to get from the UA, user agent. Now once that is prepared, when the message is prepared, the Alice will use another program to transfer that message. That is a MTA. So that is a MTA is nothing but a message transfer agent. So one agent is for creating a message, that is this message, and another is that MTA is nothing but a transfer message. So once that transfer message is clicked, automatically the message will be sending through the mail server directly. So here MTA, what it does is that MTA is a client, so it will transfer that message of the Alice to MTA server. MTA server is also having a program with just like the client form, and that is installed for the mail server. So that is installed in the mail server. So this is the client for sending the Alice information. This MTA server and the MTA client, a part of the mail server, is going to receive that informations either through LAN or through the WAN network. The message received at the mail server is being put into a queue, because the mail server is only not related to the Alice. There are many such users will be there, so it will be mail put it in the server, and this message of the Alice goes from the mail server to the next mail server through via internet, which for getting it back to Bob. When the message arrives at the destination mail server, it is being stored for the in the Bob's mailbox. That means it is a inbox. This in the inbox mailbox, it is being stored with a special wire, and that hold the message until it is retrieved by the Bob. That is, it is there, but until you are not taking it from the mailbox, it will be still there. So that is what. When the Bob needs to retrieve the message, it will how Bob will it will invoke the first the MAA. MAA is message access agent. So the message access agent will respond, and it will show display the number of mails that has appeared. So if you try to see here, until that here it will say 2 messages there, it will be showing in a small bracket 2. But once the Bob will invoke the MAA, this will appear in the form of a number of email in a row. It will be appearing based on first come first display, like that one. So the latest one will be on the top, like that it will be displayed. But still then it is not appeared. It is only in the screen itself it is showing, but what is the content of the message is not shown. But the moment the Alice will invoke the UA, this message will be opening and it will be displaying. So that is what we try to see in this case, Bob, and once the UA is there, automatically the message will be displayed. So this is the email. In the email, this security is being carried out with the encryption and descriptions. And once the UA is invoked, so what is done? The mail is being read. So this is what is seen in the case of email architectures in the which is there in the one-way communications that is being shown. Now in the email encryptions and decryptions, a symmetric key is used. So symmetric key algorithm is used so that the secret key will try to maintain the authentications between the sender and the receiver. So email security, in the email security, the sender of the message need to include the name and identifies the algorithms that need to send the message. So this is what we try to see in the case of a email service that is being provided in the architectures related to the email set of performance. Now we go to the next very important area, that is nothing but a PGP. PGP stand for Pretty Good Privacy. Pretty Good Privacy, as you can see, can be used to create a secure message or to store a file secretly securely for a future retrieval. So that is known as a Pretty Good Privacy. Now this was initially developed by Phil Zimmermann to provide an email with the privacy, integrity, and authentications. So this is just like a CIA. So that is the Zimmermann was developed. Later on, since it was not registered, and the people start using it based on the accessibility, and it was freely available for the people to use. Later he was put behind bar for doing such type of unauthenticated form of the information information exchange with respect to this PGP. So because there is a law is there, under the law everything should be first need to be approved. Based on the approval and based on the certifications, such type of services can be floated into the networks. So this is PGP was used in the network from the angle that which was not authenticated, but still it was used for the people to use use this particular service, and the demand was also much high, because it was trying to procure the supporting the security of the email in a better as compared to the existing at that particular interval of time what the services of the email was showing. So PGP was commercially available, and it was basically on the based on the plugins. You have to insert the plugin for your email, and thereby you can able to use it. That's why you can see that nowadays the email certain emails like a Microsoft Exchange, Outlook, Qualcomm, Eudora, all these things is having this PGP plugins for exchanging the informations. So here you can see that raw file is there. It is being encrypted using a public key, because that public key is known to everybody, and this encrypted key is sent to using a file transfer protocols, and thereby it is received at the receiver side. The receiver will try to decrypt using the similar way of the way it was done in the encryption side. That is, a decryption will be followed in the opposite to the encryption, but the key was used as a private key, because this is used for the intended receiver. So this is how the confidentiality is being maintained. So that is how in the case of a PGP, for easy understanding, this is being shown. But to understand more about this one in further aspects, let us see this one. A plain text is being shown. Alice tried to create a plain text and being in the form of a data and send to Bob. So that is a simple plain text is sending. But this plain text, if he is taking the plain text and using an encryption, then it is we say encrypted plain text is being sent. But assume that this plain text is being encrypted using a private key and sent, then we say it is becoming an authenticated message. And another is that if a plain text is taken and you are applying a hash function, and then you are doing a encrypted, that means you are using a digital signature in this one, because after encryption, after doing a hashing, it becomes a digest, and that digest you are further encrypted, and then you are sending, that becomes it's a authenticated message, or we say a digital signature. Then another is a compressed message. You try to compress that message and then use a hash function, and thereby you send that message. Then we send when we termed as a compressed message, because once you compress it, there is no need for further encryptions, otherwise it will try to lose the informations. So that is what we see in the case of a compressed message. Now we see the PGP for easy understanding how the PGP looks like. Now if you try to see the PGP in this case, is that you see here the encrypted sections. A data is shown here, and a random generated key is there. This random generated key is being generated at the user end, and this is a private key. Thereby user will try to encrypt the data using a private key, and will try to create a digital signature here. This encrypted key is further applied to a RSA algorithms, and thereby that key is made strong, so that the encrypted key is being again further encrypted with the data that is having a digital signature. Or you can say that already the hash function is taking place here. So this is a digest. So once this becomes a digest, that digest data is further encrypted and it is sent. This is the final encrypted message. This encrypted message is reached at the receiver side. It is being decrypted. How it is being decrypted? This message is first of all, this message and is trying to split into two parts. One is a digest message. This is a digest message. He is shown here on the left side here, and the other side is nothing but the same message is taken, and it is been encrypted using RSA algorithms and try to generate its equivalent. Or you can say that the digest is taken and the second part, the encrypted key part, is been taken, and it is passed through the RSA and try to generate its original key. This data and this digest data and the key is being used for decrypting it back. So that is how we can see over here with respect to the PGP algorithms. So in the case of a PGP, the encryption part and decryption part has two sections. One is a hash, another is a key is further made strong using a RSA, and these both are appended and sent as an encrypted message. This encrypted message is decrypted by separating the hash and the encrypted sections, and that encrypted sections is being passed through the decrypted RSA algorithms, and finally this key is used to recover this message back to the original forms. If you don't treat in terms of a digest, you can treat this one in terms of just like a authentications is being done here, because this is authenticated data, and this authenticated data, which is already encrypted, is further encrypted with the double encrypted key, and it is being sent at the receiver side. This is decrypted at the first side, so the double encrypted data has the already encrypted data has come here. The key is there. This is again decrypted, and that decrypted data is further used with this data to recover the message back. So this is what we see in the case of a PGP form of a data recovery. Now if you try to see, if you want to compute a PGP, a hash from the plain text, then it is to create a digital signature from the hash using a sender's private key. Now PGP is a battle tested standard because PGP protocols it use a particular certificate known as X.509 that depends on the hierarchical structures of the trust. So this is a PGP applications that use for the open PGP scenario. And you have to understand that as per the figure, PGP supports the message authentications and the message checking. That is also taking do, and the message integrity, it can be you can see at the receiver side. Here there is one thing you can try to see. Suppose if it is a hash done here, so this already the key is been encrypted, so this both are been sent. So both is has been sent. So another method is that this message is also separately sent. So when the message is separately sent, at the receiver side you have a this encrypted message plus a separate message. That message is coming here, and at the that message you are applying with similar form of encryptions, so that you can try to create a hash that is a randomized form of encryptions to create a hash. That hash and the hash which you received from the decrypted forms is both are equal or not. Then if both are same, then you can say that the information is intact. So that is what we try to discuss under the CA is that data is not modified, so data integrity can be maintained. The limitations with the PGP is that that it need a long length public key, and it sometimes it finds it difficult for the user to comprehend and use it in an appropriate way. That is one is that, and because it appears everywhere, so there is a lack of security systems is also there. So of course it meets the requirement, but security aspects with respect to because of the open openly used apps or openly used standards, because of which the lack of ubiquity is there, because you cannot use it everywhere. That is how the systems shows its drawback. Next is with respect to the secure multipurpose internet mail extensions. That is what we termed it as a S-MIME. So we try to see the function of a S-MIME in this case. Now S-MIME is a multipurpose internet protocols, and this is used to transfer the email, but it transfer not ASCII, it's a non-ASCII data is being transferred through the email, and that overcome the simple email format, because if you send a simple email format with ASCII, it consume more space. So that's why this S-MIME will try to, that is a secure MIME will try to send in a non-ASCII format, thereby the sender from the sender side, and that is being received at the receiver side, just like we use the previous discussions, we use a MTA for sending the email, and MAA, that is a message access agent for receiving at the receiver side. Now in this particular working, if you try to see, a user is sending a email, unsigned email. So once this unsigned email is being sent, before it reaches here, you can see this one. This is a certificate, the certifications body that try to create a certificate, as we have seen in the PGP, the X.509 certificate. The similar form of a certificate is being generated by the distributions authorities or the third-party certificate authorities. That third-party security authority will give the certificate publicly, and that public key is being used it at the final phase. But before that, once the email send it, this unsigned email is being signed with the the private key, and that private key is it will sign it, and it will be sending out through the public key. So this message is reaching to the destinations using a public key. So that is what we try to receive. And once the here also the public key is being sent to the, no, at that sorry, this third party is sending this public key for making the publicly accessed by the destination party. Now when the destination party reply the mail, it used is it's the public key of the sender. That means this is a private and the destination will use the public key of the sender, and thereby the public key which has been sent, it is being coming here, and the email receiver will use its own private key to decrypt it back. But here one thing you can try to see this one, that this private key is for signing, which has been signed here. It has been generated from the certificate authority, where the recipient is verifying the sender certificate key for the authorities. So suppose if this message is received here, this public key, is it there or not? This recipient will try to verify from the recipient's side, that to know that this email has registered with certification authority and this is its private key. But this the certification authority, it gives its private key and public key to send this message. That's how this message is being sent. So the email sender side has a security to decode it back with its own email. So there is a confidentiality is maintained, and authentication is maintained by the service provider, because they try to see that by using the certification authority's private key, it can be able to protect, and the public using a public key, it can be able to make the information to reach at the receiver side, so that the receiver can able to open it in an easy way, because based on the third party accessibility or the distributions with respect to the keys. So one side you can try to see authentication is there, another side is that confidentiality is being maintained. Confidentiality means this information is though even it is generated by the sender, protection is being done by the third party, so that the receiver will be ensuring that email is protected. So we always see that whenever we use the email, we always try to see that from where it is coming, which email is more secure. Sometimes we say that okay, this email we should not use, it is not secure. That is because of the service provider of that particular email, how authenticated, how it is being registered, and how secure protocol it is being following up. Those are the things what we see in the case of a multi-purpose internet mail service. Now if you look across the benefits of the multi-purpose email service, we have to see that some of the benefits is that it is showing like this. S/MIME helps to protect the user email related to cyber attacks such as phishing, spear phishings, CEO fraud, whaling, and like that one different type of a terminology you can see. All these things is a type of a fraud that is being occurred in the email related. Sometimes you feel that email is there, but behind that another email is running. So whatever you are typing, it is being accessed from the virtual way. So like that several type of error is there. Sometimes you type it, your content is being observed as a passive way of analyzing the email text. So these are nothing but eavesdropping. That is what. So email signing certificate will prevent these malicious users from the email dropping. So that's how the S/MIME S/MIME has gained its own popularity based on its key management and other facilities with respect to the case what we have seen as a non-ASCII form of email data format. It tries to generate and try to use provide for the users. Even your IETF, that is Internet Engineering Task Force, currently is working on the version 3 of the ESMA, which is going to become an internet standard once it completes. So that's how ESMAM is gaining its popularity in the enterprise for supporting the hierarchical public key infrastructure schemes. So with this we conclude one of the segments related to the discussions on two of the topics, that is our PGP, email, and SMIME. Rest we will discuss further in our next continuous video series. Thank you.